Hello, HyGuru family. Hope you're doing well. And I also hope that you have been enjoying the live streams which we have been doing over the past few weekends on this channel. It's been absolutely awesome to have a growing audience, and I'm so thankful. If you're new, my name is Rahul. I'm currently doing my fellowship in pediatric critical care medicine. And over the past 5 years, I've been absolutely passionate about helping students study and excel for the USMLE. In this video, we will be talking about one of my favorite topics, and that is pharmacology. And I want to go through specifically how I study pharmacology for the USMLE Step 1. I first wanted to start out by highlighting, why is pharmacology so important for the USMLE? Well, this is directly from the USMLE content outline, and it shows that pharmacology accounts for about 16 to 23% of the questions seen on the USMLE Step 1. And so one of the key take-home points that I want to highlight for you is the fact that pharmacology questions are of increasing importance for the USMLE Step 1. I mean, come on, pharmacology accounts for about 20% of your USMLE exam. And in my opinion, pharmacology really are easy points for the USMLE. We just see it in the new NBMEs. If you take them, majority of the pharmacology questions are, hey, you know it or you don't. Do you know the side effect? Do you know the mechanism of action? And that brings me to the next point. And that is, what has changed with regards to pharmacology since October 2020? Now, I know you probably have seen the recent changes that the USMLE placed in October and November of 2020, and that was related to having more emphasis on ethics as well as practice-based learning improvement questions. But I do want to let you know that the USMLE also announced that there will be a decreased emphasis on next best step in management questions for pharmacology on the Step 1, and likely an increased focus to assessing your understanding of drug mechanisms. And I really want to highlight that because understanding the drug mechanisms really goes towards the credo of USMLE Step 1, which is essentially assessing students' foundation on basic science mechanisms. And so the next portion of this, I want to go through how to really study for pharmacology during your preparation. Now, many of you have seen these resources. You see right here, Sketchy Pharm. And I think Sketchy Pharm is great because having this visual palace has even been proven in memory competitions and in the literature that it can increase memory retention. And it also makes learning very interactive. However, sometimes the cons of Sketchy is that it adds another layer or barrier to learning. You have the content, and you have the drug, and you have to really memorize these cartoons in order for you to put them together. Along with that, in my opinion, there is limited context with regards to pathophysiology when it comes to having Pixorize or Sketchy drive your learning for pharmacology. Because the goal is to really take the cartoons, the pictures, and integrate them in order for you to build that memory palace in your mind. Now, let's transition and talk a little bit about Anki. As many of you know, Anki has that spaced repetition algorithm, which really helps with memory retention. And there are some pre-made decks already out there with regards to pharmacology, and that makes Anki very awesome for pharmacology. However, what I will tell you is that sometimes Anki can be time-consuming or at times unfeasible to keep up with the reviews. You have so many different layers in your study schedule. UWorld, the UWorld question review, NBMEs. You're trying to get through pathoma videos. Man, Anki reviews and keeping up with them can be a little bit stressful. And secondarily, I think this is an important point, that Anki can sometimes be limited to minutiae rather than placing the medications in the context of pathophysiology. And I really want to highlight that because it's not these one-word answers that the USMLE is going to give you. They're going to give you really a vignette and ask you to correlate the mechanism of action of a medication to the pathophysiology. And so that brings me to this reversed pyramid approach to understanding pharmacology for the USMLE. And in my opinion, I think first aid has relatively all of the drugs that you need to know for the USMLE. And so my opinion would be to start with first aid for your pharmacology studying. I would also use a video resource, whether that's Boards and Beyond, whether that's Sketchy Pharmacology, any sort of video resource to allow you to get through some of the pharmacological agents. And this can really help you form a foundation. But if you're going to really garner the essence of these pharmacological agents, what I would encourage you to do is use this reverse pyramid methodology. And that is to start big picture and funnel down. Let's go through this in a little bit more detail. But before we do, I want to let you know that this arm right here that I added of correlating the mechanism of action and the big picture to the pathology or pathophysiology, that is going to be key to not only reviewing physiology again, but it is going to be key for you to place these medications in a context that will not only serve you well for the USMLE Step 1, but for clinical medicine as well. So if we break down this pyramid, let's start with what does the big picture mean? And that is essentially giving you what the class of the medications does. If you broke down the type of medication and what it did, what would it be? So for example, penicillins, they inhibit the cell wall of bacteria. Perfect. The next layer of the pyramid is mechanism of action. Thinking about in a process way, how does that medication modulate the physiology in the body? So for example, penicillins bind penicillin binding protein, which is a transpeptidase, and that inhibits cross-linking of the cell wall. Do you see how that's just a little bit more detail than your big picture? Next, what you'll do is really look at the specific names of the medications. And this is where I find mnemonics, the visual representations are really, really good along with repetition. And this allows you to hone in on the specific medication names in the class. And then finally, what you want to do is you want to really look at the side effects. And at times, these side effects will be related to specific medications within the class. For example, if you're going to be talking about H2 blockers, well, yeah, you have all of these H2 blockers, but cimetidine has an anti-androgenic effect. It is a specific side effect of a specific medication, and that's why it is the last portion of this funnel. But like I said, it is always important for us to take this reverse pyramid, and especially when you get to the mechanism of action, correlate it to the pathophysiology. Because as you note, these penicillins are going to inhibit the cell wall of the bacteria. And remember that whenever you have, going back to chapters 1 through 3 of pathoma, whenever you have cell wall injury or cell membrane damage, you are going to lead to cell death. And that's how antibiotics are going to kill microbes. So when I give you a specific example, here's another one. First, I'm going to say, all right, phenylephrine, pseudoephedrine. What does that do? Well, that overall causes you to reduce edema. And let's correlate that to the pathophysiology that when you are reducing the edema, you are going to have more of the plasma, more of the transudative effusion staying within the wall of the vessels. And so what's the mechanism? Well, it causes alpha-1 agonism. That causes vasoconstriction, and that then decreases the inflammation in the nose and decreases rhinorrhea. Well, alpha-1 agonism, if I'm talking about medications, well, in the nose, you're going to be talking about phenylephrine and pseudoephedrine. And the adverse effects of phenylephrine especially is that it can cause hypertension. Another thing for us to know is that pseudoephedrine, let's map that back, that causes CNS stimulation and anxiety because it is a amphetamine type derivative. Just like methylphenidate, for example, it revs you up. And so as soon as you have really gone through this reverse model of learning, you should, in parallel, use Amboss RX or Kaplan to do focus questions of pharmacology in a systems-based way, and especially in a tutor mode. Because I think focused MCQs in a tutor mode with quick review and subsequent repetition of those questions can be superior than going through the minutiae in Anki. And more important, it can help you focus on integration of content and higher order thinking, along with just pattern recognition. If you look in the medical literature, you note that in Bloom's taxonomy of medical education, just recalling and even just comprehending are at lower levels of the education pyramid. Whereas the USMLE really wants you to analyze, synthesize, and evaluate the mechanisms of these pharmacological agents. So if we quickly go through a question, a 50-year-old male presents with a runny nose and cold. He has persistent rhinorrhea and no conjunctivitis. He has no past medical history, so he's relatively healthy, just has his URI symptoms. He is prescribed a medication that acts locally to reduce his nasal congestion. You know what hint I'm giving you? He presents 3 days later for a follow-up exam with vital signs 150/98, which is hypertensive. He is noted to be comfortable and in no pain, and it is presumed that his current condition is likely a systemic absorption of his topical medication. Which of the following mechanisms explains this phenomena? Alpha-1 antagonism, alpha-1 agonism, alpha-2 antagonism, alpha-2 agonism. Well, this is going to be alpha-1 agonism. And this was related to what? Well, this was related to what we just went through in that reverse pyramid way, and that is talking about phenylephrine and how you can get systemic absorption, and that can cause you to have hypertension. So just an example of how multiple choice questions really can allow you to apply the information that you're learning. And so that brings me to the last portion of this video, and that is to announce my very own rapid review USMLE Step 1 Pharmacology class that is coming up in just a few weeks, May 15th and May 16th. It is going to be 3 hours per day of jam-packed material. And here's the curriculum. We're going to start with neurology, going through anesthesia, all the way to Alzheimer's drugs. We're going to be talking about asthma medications. We're going to be talking about acid suppression medications. Day 2 is all going to be cardiology, endocrine, really going through diabetes drugs and anticoagulants. We're going to be going through the MAB parade, all the monoclonal antibodies, rituximab, infliximab, and then we'll be closing with diuretics. If you register for this course, and I'm going to put the link in the description, I really want to highlight the mechanisms of these pharmacological agents with the integration with pathophysiology. I want to give you the approach to how I go through pharmacology questions. There's going to be a lot of multiple choice questions that we'll be going through. And in my opinion, just in short, I would say that this course is going to be a combination of pathoma concepts and sketchy concepts put into one. And I'm going to teach you pharmacology from a physiology basis so that you can review in a high yield, integrated manner before you walk into your prometric exam. Now, I did make a video on my YouTube channel that covers antimicrobials just so you get a flavor of how I'm going to be going through pharmacology for this course. And more than anything, if you have any questions, let me know. I would love for you to join our classroom May 15th and May 16th. I think it's prime time for your dedicated study. And I'll be giving some practice questions for you to do as homework so that you can learn in a structured way. I really hope that this video helped you, and please feel free to let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to even answer them in the comments. Take care, guys. Happy studying, and look forward to seeing you in the next awesome live stream.